Alright, so here we go to Orcs and Goblins turn 3. This is where my opponent made another blunder. On his animosity roll, that big unit of boar boys rolled a 6 and then rolled 2 inches forward and put him, when we eventually measured it on my turn, put him just within charge reach. He could have charged me that turn into my unit of Knights of the Realm and would have just slaughtered me. It was close though, so I don't know if it's a blunder, but that was tough. But more importantly, he didn't try to move to get out of my way, and I was easily within charge reach of him. But you can see he takes his Lord Wyvern, puts him to where they can rear charge my men-at-arms or charge into the flank of my Knights of the Realm. He has his giant turning around to lend support. So he's got 3 really tough units, all converging on that one Knights of the Realm unit. The rest of my guys are off to the left out of sight or to the right, and so it's really, I control all the flanks and he controls the middle. So my turn 3, these 2 cowardly units rally. Turn my men-at-arms around. I don't really care if he charges them. I don't really care if he destroys them. I'd love him just to get locked in combat for a turn or 2. Thinking that I couldn't get out of reach of his Wyvern, I go ahead and charge this unit. I know that's going to be tough because my general's dead, so I don't get the bonus for the virtue of duty. And we both have banner and war banner. We both have the war banner. We both have 1 rank. He starts with an outnumber, but I get the charge. It's really going to be dicey. And if I don't break him, his giant is just to my right, and his giant's going to come to the side. So in hindsight, I don't know if that was a good call or not. But it definitely isn't the kind of overwhelming charge I like to get off. See, I took the Pegasus Knights into the bolt thrower. That's lined up so that his crew fled, but my guys stop at the bolt thrower. At the end of the combat phase, I will destroy it and overrun, and it will take me into the flank of his fast cav. And over here, I'm just getting my fast cav out of my way, and the other guys I'm turning around. I really just want to keep my guys together so that if I don't get in combat the rest of the game, I should win. And if we do get in combat, I want to make sure my guys can get some concentrated attacks. And here's just another shot, because I just thought that Wyvern General's painted really well. And with my guys, I just thought it was pretty cool. Now look at the background. I've got my Knights Errant. Remember, they just rallied. So my thinking is, if he charges into the front of my unit, I've got a real good chance of holding. And if I do hold, my Knights Errant are going to come into his flank next turn. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for there. So what I wasn't hoping for was my BSB unit charges in here. We killed, I guess, 1 or 2 of them, but for the most part, we whiff a lot of attacks. He comes back, kills my BSB, breaks the unit, runs him down, and I'm down 2 banners and a very pricey unit. And the center of the board is squarely his now. There's another view of what's going on. And remember, that was my turn. If it was his turn, I could countercharge with my Knights Errant on the far left, but that was my turn when I charged in and got broken. So Orcs and Goblins turn 4. He takes his Wyvern to the side, makes it to where it's going to be tough for me to get out of his charge reach, and more importantly, my guy is going to have to take a terror test on that thing again. Takes his giant, makes it such that my knights can't see him, and yet I can't really come to the center of the board. I missed a picture in here, but basically his boar boys unit charged my men-at-arms. I couldn't flee because at the time his Wyvern was on the other side of me and I would have been destroyed anyway. And so I held, and he just chopped me up and ran me down anyway. My Knights Errants can still see them though, and so I'm looking forward to my turn to getting a nice juicy, probably flank attack on that, probably not rear attack. Pegasus Knights overran, they destroyed the bolt thrower, overran into his fast cav. On his turn we fought it, and I destroyed him. Overran into the crew of his war machine, who continued to run. But of course, on my turn, those guys are going to have to take a terror test on that giant, and if I fail it, I'll be running right off the board. I'm really not liking how the psychology rules are in 7th edition. So another look at the board. We go to Brett's turn 4. And of course my Knights Errant fail their terror test and run off the board. Yeah. The Pegasus Knights passed their terror test, they passed their fear test, they charged the giant. The Pegasus Knights that had rallied the turn before charged the crew of the War Machine. And I hesitated to bring my Knights unit any further forward because my Pegasus Knights are, they're not assured of winning against the giant. And if they lose and break and he doesn't pursue them, he would be set up to charge me in the flank if I were to get out in front of him. So I'm kind of using that hill to block his line of sight on me as well. So I take my stone thrower, land a stone right on top of that unit. His BSB took a strength 5 hit, failed his lookout sir roll, and got past his ward save and everything. And then I rolled D6 wounds. I rolled a 1. I was so bummed. I really want some vengeance on this unit, plus they're holding 2 of my standards. And anyway, I killed a bunch with my stone, and then my archers shot at it and killed another one. Thought it was kind of funny. Pegasus Knights did 5 wounds on the giant. Pretty lucky, I would say. I don't know what odds are, but my guess is my odds are only probably 2 or 3 wounds on him. But I did 5. But he did a jump up and down thing and did 2d6 hits on me, ended up doing 5 wounds, and then auto-broke my remaining knight with 1 wound left and chased him down. So that was kind of a bummer, but at least his giant's down to 1 wound. I could probably pick him off. If nothing else, he's not really influencing that center of the board anymore. Hate to sacrifice a Pegasus Knight unit to do that, though. So on his turn, he, let's see, those are my Pegasus Knights. They beat the crew of the War Machine. I overran, hoping to get a free charge into his giant, but I missed it. So he set up to charge me, and my guys are in trouble. If I flee, I'm off the board. If I don't flee, he's probably just going to just smack him. And this was huge blunder number, well, it's blunder number 3 at least, but this was a big one. He takes his Wyvern and he decides just to hide him behind the hill. And I think he was going to take his Boar boys and bring them over to the corner, and at this point just try to hide out the rest of the game. And he's got a couple banners. He's got the 3 guys you can see right now. And that's enough points that I think he was hoping to be able to eke out a draw. And he may have been right. I'm not sure. But, yeah, he rolled Animosity, and so he couldn't take his Boar Boys unit into the corner to hide him. So that really hurt him. If he had put his Wyvern out, he could easily put him out somewhere where I couldn't charge him, and yet he would control a section of the table so that I couldn't really comfortably get closer to that Boar Boys unit. There really would have been no harm in doing something like that, with the exception of being vulnerable to a trebuchet shot. So I think that's why he did it. Ended up really hurting him, though. So on his turn, this is what we're looking at. So Brett turn 5. So I move up. I tried to declare a charge with my Pegasus Knights into the giant because he only has 1 wound left, and I failed my fear test. So now I'm set up for him to charge me. That was very disappointing. I move my Knights unit up so that on his turn 5, I don't think he can get away from me, and I'll get a charge, get my banners back, take that unit off the board, secure a win. On a whim, I took my level 1 Damsel and cast Wolf Hunts. That's the only spell I got this game. Goes off on a 9, and I rolled 2 6s. And so he looks at that. He decides to flee with his unit. And when he does, they run into the house. He rolled a 15. And at that point, he just conceded. On his turn, he could have charged his giant into my Pegasus Knights. I think he would have had a great chance of destroying him. If he didn't destroy him outright, if I would have got 1 wound, I would have taken his giant off the board. So who knows? But at that point, he conceded. So as far as the league goes, there's no difference between a massacre and a minor win. So I got the win. I got, I believe, 2 of the possible 3 scenario points, and he didn't get any because he lost all his banners when that unit got destroyed. So that was the game. Win for the Bretonnians. Hope you enjoyed it.